Okay, this is the first ever video I'm doing for YouTube. I'm doing this as a recovering alcoholic who years ago left AA and doesn't want anything to do with the religious program anymore. I'm putting this out here as like an alternative to AA. Came across the Smart Recovery when I was in AA, and it ultimately was a better program for me. Now, Smart Recovery is the self-management and recovery training. It's an alternative to AA and can be used in replace of that. And what drew me to the Smart Recovery was based on psychology and science instead of religion like AA is. And for me, that's more of a better approach. Now, I know people like Jordan Peterson, who's a psychologist, will state that spiritual experiences and everything is first and foremost. And while I do agree that it is an integral part of recovery, I don't feel like it's first and foremost, because I'm more of someone who thinks that you should get your head straight on first before finding out whether or not religion or spirituality is for you. And like I said, the big reason why I'm doing this is so that way I can share my experiences and hopefully get people help with recovery and everything. Now, Smart Recovery, there's you can go online, get the app. You can also see online whether there's actual in-person meetings in your area. I know that it's really not any in my area. I have to go to Vermont, which is the next state over from where I am at, and unfortunately it wouldn't be necessarily a good choice for someone in my position to actually travel, because even though I do have a car and transportation to get to those meetings and everything, not everyone would have access to be able to travel to meetings if there's no in-person meetings. But you can also go online and do online meetings as well. Now, I also picked up the Handbook. Now it's an older one. It's third edition, and it's definitely helps in that it uses several different behavioral techniques. It uses cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and REBT, which is rational emotional behavioral therapy, and also uses motivational enhancement therapy, which is MET. And now in the handbook, it also says that a Smart Recovery isn't a replacement for therapy or counseling. So I'm a big advocate on if you're in a position where you need to go to rehab or get with a counseling, do inpatient, do outpatient, do rehab, do that route. Now I did go to outpatient before I got sober from my alcohol abuse, and looking back, unfortunately I wish I had taken more advantage of that. So with that said, I would recommend doing if you're in a position where you're trying to get off and you're not maybe physically dependent I was, then you can go do the whole outpatient, and it's definitely well worth it if you want to go that just outpatient. Now, if you're someone who is physically dependent, you're going to have to go to get professional help to wean yourself off that and everything. And I personally don't have any experience with being physically dependent on any alcohol or drugs. I'm just someone who was able to quit on my own, walking into AA, figuring that was the only option. And at the time, I didn't realize that there were other options like Smart Recovery. And if I had known, I would have probably gone a total different route, and probably would have stopped going to meetings a lot sooner than I did. Now, unfortunately, I can't change the past, but it is an experience where I can relate. Hey, look, this is what I did. Now, I was in AA for about 2.5 years before finally leaving, and I felt it was 2 years too long, because with AA, their whole attitude is you have to make meetings regardless for the rest of your life, whereas with Smart Recovery, you can go to meetings and then get to the point where if you feel you have a good social network of people that support you in your recovery, then smart recovery's attitude, from what I've been reading, is that you don't necessarily have to go to meetings for the rest of your life, which I know is like a big was a big turnoff for me, and maybe a big turnoff for other people as well. So for me, like when I first came across the smart recovery, my brother gave me the handbook, and I found it very intriguing because it was a total different non-12 step approach to recovery from alcohol and drug abuse. And like I said, if I had come across it at first, I would have gone that route instead of going through AA and feeling like it would have been stuck in there forever, and being stuck in there a lot longer than I was actually wanted to be. And like now it was smart recovery was actually founded by like a guy named Joe Gerstein. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. He was back in 1994, and their headquarters is in Mentor, Ohio. And with this, I hope to go over like the whole handbook, and hopefully, as this channel grows, I hope to maybe get people like ideas on helping them go through like the handbook themselves, and use this channel as like another outlet for people to get better and move on with their lives from drug and alcohol abuse. And so like the whole handbook has like several different chapters. Like you can buy it online. I just looked it up. It was you can get it on Amazon for like $13, and plus tax if there's tax in your state, plus shipping and handling and everything. So it isn't too bad like for price wise and everything. So like and Smart Recovery is run by volunteers, at least the in-person program. So like but again, if you don't have any in-person meetings in your area, go online and check on for online meetings and everything. There's like there should be like meetings on there. The whole book, the whole handbook is about like 100 pages long, and it has several different chapters and several different like worksheets and different ideas for you to use from anywhere, like to like a pie chart on how you rate your life in different areas. And like it also like will help point out ideas, maybe like what stuff like I do is journaling at the end of the day, kind of like having that like mental download on paper, just like, okay, this is how my day went. Getting all your thoughts out on paper, just to try and have that like in a sense brain word vomit, so you can sit there and actually like look back and contemplate and see where you had success in that day, where you had failures, where you can improve, where like you're doing okay and everything. So like I said, like for me, like with Smart Recovery, it was it would have been a lot better if I had come across that first instead of AA. And fortunately, I had to go through AA to get the Smart Recovery, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. But for me, it would be a lot better option for people, because it gets a science and psychology approach, and lets you, in my opinion, lets you get your head on straight first before like you have to find religion and spirituality. Like AA kind of forces you down your throat. And for me, that would have been, and I'm sure there's a lot more people out there that would have been would feel like they would have feel they have a better approach to like a science and psychology approach rather than a religious approach, which AA is. And like I'm hoping to grow this to the point where, like I said, like I can get people like ideas from the comments people leave to kind of go over like eventually I want to go like do that. So like the next few episodes, I plan on going through the handbook and like going through like the ideas and concepts that they have in their handbook. And so I'm hoping to hear feedback from other people, so that way like I can grow this, and we can hopefully help other people recover from alcohol and drug abuse. So hopefully I'll see everyone on the next one. Till next time.